These are salt of the earth people, real Australians who care deeply about their communities. Many of them have been on their farms for generations. Their kids aren't going to have a future on the land because they don't know whether they're going to be able to operate anymore. They've got just these government and energy bureaucrats that are able to trespass without any permission on their land as they're looking at where they're going to put up these poles and wires. And yeah, look, the immediate issue is the transmission wires that are going to go through land. So basically what's proposed is in order to set up this whole new renewable infrastructure, there needs to be a whole new energy transmission system. So you can't just plug into the existing transmission system that's there. They're going to completely set up a new system across our country, which means you have to have a whole new series of transmission lines and towers that's going to go through these farming communities on private land. Well, it's going to undermine their ability to farm because they need to use, as you know, broad acre machinery that's got to be able to operate effectively. When you've got these massive, transmission lines and towers going through there, it's a huge issue for their ability to operate. It's also a big safety issue. We talked to a local CFA, Country Fire Association official, and the information he provided made it very clear that people's lives will be put at risk from this because they can't effectively fight bushfires when they've got these massive towers that are around on this land. So many of them are just going to simply sell up and leave. So there's a food security issue. You can't keep farming on the land when you've got these transmission lines going right through it. So we're going to have to import our food, and this will have ramifications right across our society. We talked to a couple of local tourism operators, and they said it's going to be a big issue for them because, of course, you're around the Grampians. You're not far away. So if you're hiking through the Grampians, you're going to be able to see these transmission lines. So there's going to be a huge negative impact on the tourism industry, not to mention the livability, as you say, of the local community. The other point to remember here is at the moment we're just talking about the transmission lines, but of course the supposed energy they're going to get to put into the transmission lines is from wind and solar. So you're going to have this countryside blanketed with solar panels and wind turbines. According to official figures from the Victorian government, something like 70% of prime agricultural land across Victoria would need to be taken up by wind turbines and solar panels and transmission lines to achieve their net zero targets. Think about what that means. 70% of agricultural land. That's an enormous number. There's no indication of, well, what does this mean for our ability to produce food? What's it going to mean for these communities? These policies are deeply unpopular, and the communities affected by them are deeply resentful of the way that they're being dismissed and treated by the inner city bureaucrats and the politicians who are just trying to steamroll them.